Hey everyone, welcome to Business Growth Talks. Today I am going to do a special episode about something that's been going through my mind for quite some time, and I wanted to explain it to you and give you my thoughts on whether I think what the difficult subject that I'm going to talk about. Please do think about subscribing to the channel. I would really appreciate that, and go to businessgrowthtalks.com and you won't miss an episode there. So the subject we're going to talk about is toxic masculinity. So we are going to unmask manhood and give you a thought-provoking episode to really think about modern masculinity. Today we're going to deep dive into the controversial territory of male toxicity, a topic that touches and dominates aggression, outdated notions of manliness. We're going to explore different perspectives, including those of Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate, and someone that you might not know, but I would advise you going to look at him. He's a very interesting character, Dan Pena, to understand the wider context of male masculinity and is there a crisis. So let me begin with a definition of male toxicity. It refers to the idea of domination, homophobic behaviors, and aggression. We are going to talk about things that psychologists say and go into the gender studies to give the balanced view on whether male toxicity is how much is actually impacting society. So as I said, we're going to talk about the voices of toxicity who are given a lot of reference when it comes to this subject. Now, firstly, I want to talk about Andrew Tate. So he comes out with controversial statements about himself and about women as well. We also want to discuss how his behaviours and the fact that he's been put in prison by the Romanian authorities, and what his views are. He is deeply toxic. He talks of women about they are something that he can manipulate and be able to use and be able to expand on and be able to make an impact on. His views I find very distasteful. There are certain people in the media who are defending him, saying that he's innocent, or not, that he hasn't been said that he's actually guilty, which is all true, but the guy is pumping out content which is incredibly bigoted, homophobic, and aggressive. The second one I want to talk about is Jordan Peterson. Now, Jordan Peterson, I actually have a bit of time and respect for. He's a qualified psychologist. He gives a balanced viewpoint, I think, about male toxicity, women's roles in society. There's a great excerpt of him basically saying that, yes, the 1% of the money in the world is with men, but that is such a subset, that is such a small, the vast majority of men are, like, the majority of people that are in prison are men. Vast majority of people who work manual labor are men. And he says this, you should check it out on YouTube. He absolutely crucifies this very liberal female feminist, and it's a very interesting view. Then I want to talk about Dan Pena. Now, he is an ultra masculine business advisor who does these 2-week things in Scotland, where he's got a massive, I'd call it a chateau, but like a castle, and he is exploring the teachings of high performance, bringing it to the table. But he also talks about how to motivate men, specifically, can be women, but how to motivate men in a healthy masculine way. So it's a really interesting, there are many different views of this, and the bigotry, the homophobia, the aggression, I don't subscribe to. But I do think that men are lost, and we'll come on to that a little bit later on. The struggles of modern man. We want to be able to think about the generational changes that have left some men directionless, highlighting the sociality shifts away from the traditional male role. This has come in many different forms. Women working and not being home givers. Absolutely fine with women working. There's no issue there for me. But we have to understand that sometimes the male role in a family is to provide, and we should be challenging those, and that should not be something that is dogmatic or static. But we have to then appreciate that with the change of roles for men, it means that they are slightly lost and they don't really know what the direction they should be going into. Also, I want to think about mental health for men. They are the suicide is the biggest cause of death for men. There are so many ideas about how men's mental health are suffering. Lots of men are finding different ways of being able to experience and share their mental health, which is great through therapy and things like that. But there is definitely a struggle for men feeling lost. And therefore, sometimes people like Andrew Tate and that masculinity and the things that he supports and things can be very attractive to, especially to younger men who do not have their life plan and not know where they want to go with it. So there are very good ways that men can be men. And one of the things that's happened is these support groups for men. I've got a friend of mine who helps people with working dads and divorced dads. And that is incredibly empowering for men to have that space, have that time to be able to think about their role in life, their role in their family, their role in society, their role in jobs. It's incredibly important that there is that support for men in the world. And so I just want to summarize, this is an incredibly complex issue, which one view does not explain everything. So as I said, people like Dan Pena is a bit extreme for me. I'm not a massive fan of the way that but I do think there is some points to what he has to say. Andrew Tate, I have an issue with. I don't think he is a particularly nice human being, and I don't think he should be something that men should be looking up to. Equally, then we look at Jordan Peterson, who can be termed in some ways as being toxic. But I think the thing what I like about him is he backs up all of his comments with studies that he has been either involved in or he has read. So it is a completely difficult, really challenging area. And I think the one last point on conclusion is we need to support men to be able to feel like men. Now, that does not mean homophobic, that does not mean bigoted, that does not mean aggressive behavior. But we have to then appreciate that when their role as men have ebbed away, dissolved around in society, that we should be supporting these men. So if you know someone that is struggling, please do tag them in on this video, on this podcast, because I think people need to hear that other people are experiencing this. People are having problems when it comes to what their role is in society for men. So just think about that. Please do tag anyone in. Please do leave in any comments you've got about what my thoughts are on this. Am I right? Am I wrong? I'm open to being challenged and asked, and you guys asking me what I believe, and I think I've shared that today. So thank you very much. Please do if you enjoyed this content, please do give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really does help the channel, and I really do appreciate all those people in the last few months that have been coming and have been subscribing to the channel. It means the world to me, and I just want to keep on growing this channel and keep on making it the best that I can for you guys, for the listeners and the audience. Thank you very much for your time.